15 tips for your first 10 sparring sessions. Number 1, the moment you get punched in the face, you're more than likely going to experience those two things. One, you're either going to become super jittery, you know, adrenaline is gonna kick in and you're gonna be like moving around too fast and you're gonna try to punch all at once, just give everything you have, or you're going to freeze, right? But just keep in mind that both of those reactions are very normal. So just keep doing your thing and don't beat yourself up, because, well, that's what you have your sparring partner for. Number 2, you will tense up. So try to focus on relaxing your body, because when you're tense, you deplete all of your energy, and not only that, but you actually become very, very slow. You want to become kind of fluid, you want to be relaxed, because when you're relaxed, you can move a lot faster, you can punch faster, and you can actually see what your sparring partner is doing as well, so that you can react better. Number 3, this one should be kind of a common sense, but don't spar without a mouth guard. And I'm only saying this because I know a lot of times people will just agree on light spar or whatever, but even in light spars, you eventually can get caught with a good shot and lose your teeth. I am speaking from personal experience here. Thankfully, I didn't lose any teeth, but one time a while ago when I was sparring, I got punched right above my upper set of teeth and right below my nose right here, so in this area, which caused a lot of bleeding from my nose because it was kind of a hard punch, and it was unintentional, but it happened. But it made me realize that if the punch was just a little bit lower, I was probably going to lose a tooth or two. So I really suggest you don't do that. Number 4, in the beginning, you're still just trying to get comfortable in your stance and your balance and throw punches at a moving target. So focus on staying balanced and throwing your punches with the proper technique, right? None of your first sparring sessions should be hard or fast-paced, so it shouldn't be a problem to be able to focus on those things. And if your first sparring sessions are hard or fast-paced, then you are probably in the wrong gym, but it's very circumstantial. It very much depends how long you had been training before you stepped into the ring. So, you know, up to you there. Number 5, don't neglect your defense. You're not in the ring just to punch people and that's it, right? You're gonna get punched back. So actively think of how you can defend yourself, right? You can punch and then defend yourself. And if you are sparring, you should at least know how to slip or block a punch. And if you don't, then you shouldn't be sparring like at all. You shouldn't be sparring in the first place if you don't know how to defend yourself even a little bit. Number 6, very important one, breathe. If you don't breathe, you're gonna sooner or later realize that this is like one of the most important things in boxing, because if you don't breathe properly, you're going to lose all of your energy like 50% faster, if not like 80% faster than if you did breathe. This is why when people shadow box or boxers just, you know, train, we exhale on every punch we throw, because we want it to become natural to us. We want it to become subconscious so that we don't have to think about it, right? There are many different reasons why you want to exhale on your punches, but we're talking about sparring right now. And basically, it's gonna allow you to conserve energy. But another thing is that not only when you do throw punches, you should breathe out and breathe in. Breathing in should happen naturally, but breathing out is when you punch. Anyways, when you defend yourself, when somebody is coming at you and start a punch, you know, they're forcing you into a blocking position, your defensive position, you might get tensed up, you know, you might get tense and you might forget to breathe, which will actually deplete your energy. But eventually, if you keep stepping to the ring, it's gonna click and you're gonna be able to think a bit more clearly about breathing. Number 7, stick to simple punches like jab, cross, and hooks. Don't try to get too fancy too fast, because you're just gonna stall your progress, right? You want to first get comfortable in your stance, in your balance, and how to throw like simple punches and combinations at a moving target, because you're not hitting a heavy bag anymore. You're hitting a target that's punching you back and moving all around you, right? So you want to get comfortable doing simple things first and then build off of that, especially in your first 10 sparring sessions, you know what I mean? Number 8, don't get discouraged if you quote unquote get beat up, because people nowadays call it the Kenan event, right? Basically, if you start boxing and you spar, you will get punched. You just have to accept the fact that you will get punched in the face like countless of times, right? So realize that some of your sparring sessions are going to be good, some of your sparring sessions are going to be neutral, some of your sparring sessions are not going to be very good. You're going to feel like pretty demotivated and devastated even. But don't quit boxing just because of one bad sparring session. This is how you get better. You have to experience a bad sparring session, because this is where the truth kicks in, right? That there are people who have put more work into the boxing skill, and that's where, you know, reality check kicks in, so that you can start working on your defense more, or your footwork more, or your stamina, and so on and so on. Number 9. I know it's kind of hard and it's easier said than done, but relax on your power when you first step into the ring, because I understand that adrenaline is gonna kick in and you're gonna try to defend yourself, and you're not gonna want to do bad, quote unquote, even though it's just sparring. It's part of the training, it's a drill, right? You're not actually fighting there. So you want to relax on your power and just focus on your technique, because in most cases your coach will tell you to stop like swinging or like throwing power shots or whatever, but if you just keep doing it over and over again to somebody who has been sparring for a while, they're gonna humble you, they're gonna throw a few shots that will actually hurt you, and maybe then you will learn. But you know, everybody has different experience in that segment, I guess. Number 10, try to refrain from getting emotional. Sparring can bring out a lot of suppressed emotions from within you when you get punched or you punch someone. So it's very normal to feel those things, but try not to let them take over you, because this whole like when I see red things, you know, go down and like everybody drops nonsense does not work in a boxing ring, especially against people who have been sparring for a while, because the moment you start to get emotional, let them control you, you are no longer playing the chess game, you are now just swinging and hoping for the best, and it never works against somebody who has been in the ring before. Number 11, when sparring is over, don't be afraid to ask for feedback, what went well, what didn't. You're there to learn, you're not there to prove something. So just put your ego aside and be receptive to feedback and ask for feedback. It's very normal, right? You want to learn, you want to get better. And if you don't want to get better, well, then you're just gonna stay the same. Number 12, unless you have good emotional intelligence, don't spar sad, depressed, or tired. Those don't mix well with sparring, because you're just gonna get into your head. You're gonna feel like everything's going wrong. You're gonna be missing punches. You're gonna be eating punches. So you're gonna end up leaving the ring worse than when you stepped into it. Number 13, try not to think too much, because boxing is a sport where you don't have too much time to think. As the moment you start thinking is the moment you're gonna get punched in the face. So this is why it's important to shadow box a lot, so that all of your movements become like a muscle memory and subconscious, right? Because when you're sparring, you have to react versus think of what to do, right? This is so, it's, as I said, it's easier said than done, but just try to throw punches when you see an opening. But it's gonna come with experience, basically. Eventually things will click and you will understand when to throw a punch, what punch to throw, and how to control the distance, at what distance to throw the punch, all those little things. But just try not to think too much. I understand thinking of your game plan is absolutely fine. You want to be thinking as in the present moment, right? But you don't want to get into your head, because as I said, the moment you get into your head is the moment you get punched in the face. Number 14, if you do need a quick plan, here is one right here. Get in, do your combos, punch, get out, repeat. It's very simple. That way you learn how to close the distance, to throw punches at a moving target, and then end your attacks with the defensive movement. right? Remember, this is a sport where you hit and don't get hit, preferably. And then most of your combinations with a defensive movement is just gonna help you in the long term. This is just a simple plan. I'm not saying you should do this every single time, because it depends on what you want to work on. But if you don't have a plan and you don't know what to do, just try this. Get in, punch, get out, repeat. And then 15, lastly, but most importantly, try to enjoy your experience with boxing and sparring and training while the motivation is still high in the beginning, because you want to build that discipline of showing up even when you have good training sessions or bad ones. Because once the motivation leaves, discipline is what's gonna make you stick around. And that's when you're gonna realize that boxing is gonna take time to get good at, but if it's really worth it to you, you will stick around. And I know that for a fact. I've seen many people who showed up to the gym and they sticked around for a long time. And I've seen a lot of times people would show up very motivated, saying how they're gonna become the best, or they're gonna get really good and they're gonna prove the coach, whatever. And then they're gone after like 5-6 months or something, maybe even 1 or 2 months. You know, it happens all the time. All right, guys, if you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, and if you have been sparring for a while and you watched this video, leave some other tips in the comments for other people. Also, I appreciate all of you guys' supports, and then I will see you in the next video.